Okay, welcome back to the LOTD pod. Along with Richard, I'm Flick, and we're just going to take a little time to discuss new music for the month of March. It is a new month now. April is upon us.
New month, new season. So exciting.
Yeah, and not as much, I don't think, in March for me to discuss anyway. I'm not sure about yourself. But one thing that I think definitely has to be discussed is the new release by Lana Del Rey, Chemtrails Over the Country Club. I spent a little time with this, Richard. It's newer to you.
It is newer to me, but Miss Del Rey and I go way back, at least to her polarizing, but I thought really fun Saturday Night Live appearance in, I think, 2012.
Yeah, and I know I watched that. I'm pretty sure I watched that. I don't really recall that. I don't remember. Why was it polarizing?
People were giving her shade because I think the tune that she was playing was video games. And she did kind of like this dance move in the moment. And then the next day, everyone was like, why did she do that weird dance move? It's like, well, because she is a musician and she was feeling it. And that's what you do when you're feeling the music. You do a little dance move. So while playing what I think is a really interesting, fun song, really well-written song.
So just caught up in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, not like Lady Gaga at the Oscars a few years ago, but it was ammunition for haters, I would say.
Well, what isn't anymore?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's why I'm ensconced in a walk-in closet, size of a mercury capsule.
and I don't want to be a hater. I do have a little bit of difficulty with Ms. Del Rey. Whereas I find her a little bit hard to like at times, but at the same time, I think she's really good. And I think, it's kind of taken her a while to for me anyway, to really appreciate how good she is at what she does. And I think really like the last two albums have won me over to her music. I still find her a little bit difficult to like.
Yeah, I that's a perfectly valid point. That's your perspective, and I think, like we were talking about in the green room before we went on air. I think I may be a little bit more familiar with the start of her popularity, her first couple albums, and then I haven't fully kind of grokked the newest, like, two maybe. But I think I'm not really. I think the kind of persona that she inhabits in her music is kind of like this weird. It's kind of like in Twin Peaks when they go to the roadhouse and then there's like really dreamy, like strange pop music on stage. It's like that. There's a character that I think that she plays in her music, and it's like kind of this like a refraction of LA in the 50s, old school music. I'm sorry, like old school Hollywood movie culture references that are kind of being collided with songs about video games and chemtrails. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have like a firm grasp on like who she is as a person, and maybe I'm not supposed to.
Yeah, I don't. For me, the personality that comes through in her songs is like somebody that is a little bit hard for me to relate to. But at the same time, like, she is good, and I guess we're kind of coming at this from different angles, because for me it's like the last two albums are the ones that I am pretty much familiar with, and like almost totally unfamiliar with the ones that came before that. So with the previous album and this one, it's really kind of where I have taken notice and feel like I sort of have no choice because she's really good. And yeah, so anyway, as far as the album goes, itself, like there are some songs here that I don't think are all that great, like Yosemite and I think it was Tulsa Jesus Freak is the other one. Like there are some things here that miss the mark for me, but for the most part, it's totally the opposite. For the most part, the songs are really strong. Like she's great with melody, uh, and I think the opening track, White Dress, is super interesting. It has one of the most improbable earworms I think that has ever existed when she sings down at the Men in Music business conference and squishes that phrase altogether and somehow makes that into a really catchy earworm, which I think is a major achievement in itself.
Yeah, wow. I really like what I've heard. And just to catch our listeners up, the new album is called Chemtrails Over the Country Club.
That's right. Yeah, I guess it's important to lead with that. But yeah, that is the one we're talking about. And it came out just this past weekend?
Yeah, and I like with Lana Del Rey that I like the arrangements a lot. I'm a big fan of voice and piano with tons of reverb. And I'm also a big fan of people that, they're not going to only put out, one album every 8 years. And she's been putting out a lot of records. It's fun to have. It's kind of like you have a dialogue with an artist who is putting out an album a year. It's like, oh, this is what they've been up to the last few months.
Well, it's like the old days.
Just like the old days, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I just going back to that first track, and because you mentioned vocals, yeah, another thing she does on that opening track is this kind of. It's really. There's no other way to say it. It's weird. It's weird the way that she sings a lot of it in this whispering falsetto sort of thing, but it works. And she does. I will say conversely that there are tracks that use auto tune that I just really falls flat for me. But there's a lot about that opening track, White Dress, that I think is really great. I like the title track a bit, and it's a strong collection of songs for sure.
Yeah, right on. I'm gonna put that on later.
All right, and what is your big lead to talk about?
I've got a few albums. A couple of them are just new-ish and new to me, but the one I've really been jamming on is the new album. I believe it's their second album by Noga Erez, who is an Israeli producer, vocalist / rapping person.
Person.
Yeah, it's just it's a really sick album. It's really, really good. The beats are crazy. Her wordplay is, it's sometimes a little political, but it's always personal, and I like how those things intersect, especially if you're, no matter who you are in Israel, you have an obligation to serve in the army, the IDF, right? And so some of her tunes are kind of informed by, seeing that up close, and on top of that, while talking about these big issues, it sounds like just a there are all these great beats. It has the same kind of keyboard squiggles and great bass lines as something produced by Danger Mouse or Gorillaz or Mia, a beta band, or Jane. So I wouldn't say that she's derivative of any of those, but yeah, just like really, I think the album "Modern Guilt" by Beck is a good example, or which is with Danger Mouse and Lux Prima, the Danger Mouse and Karen O collaboration, are good kind of lead ups or bookends to this album. But yeah, really, really interesting. Danceable, personal record. Guest vocals by her significant other person, Russo, and yeah, check it out. If gyms were still a thing, I would totally rock this at the gym.
I think they are still a thing. But yeah, so you're pro Danger Mouse then?
I'm definitely definitely pro Danger Mouse. I think he's.
Yeah,
I love keyboards, and I love there's a lot to be said for like a straight up just like roots rock, get a bunch of guys in the studio and mic everything
mm-hmm.
Band, but what you can do with modern production and a laptop and like a MIDI interface is just, there are no limits to the crazy sounds and beats that you can imagine. So he's running with it. Noga Erez is running with it. The new album is called Kids. I think like we're doing a bad job at being radio hosts right now. We're not mentioning record names, but
yeah, that's 101 stuff. That's basics. But yeah, Danger Mouse also very polarizing. But I am on the bandwagon as well. Just to mention what I didn't hear you mention, to credit something that I like a lot.
Yes, please.
The work that he's recently done with Michael Kiwanuka on his last two albums.
Oh wow! Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a big album for me right now. I found another fun record. This came out last year. This is an artist in San Jose, my neck of the woods. I'm as Sean has mentioned. I'm in Oakland, California. This gentleman's name is Aki Kumar, and the album is Dilruba. And kind of the 30-second version of this is that Aki Kumar moved to Silicon Valley 20 years ago to be a software guy and fell in love with the blues. But he's also really informed by Indian music, specifically Bollywood. So the album Dilruba is this really interesting mashup of, these great like kind of like Stax and Motown informed jams with blues harmonica, but then that kind of classic. I don't even know how to properly articulate the echo and reverb in a lot of Bollywood tunes, but definitely some of that, and a lot of the almost all of the lyrics are in Hindi. So it's a little bit manic at times, and in a good way, depending on your mood. But yeah, some definitely some good jams on this record, some real pop hits. I would start with the title track, Dilruba, or skip ahead a little bit and treat yourself to a really killer tune called Hurdafa. And just be aware, as we've spent so much time hanging out with Bob Dylan, no matter who wields a harmonica, sometimes a little goes a long way.
Well, sure. So I'm looking at the picture of Aki Kumar on Wikipedia, and it looks like Jay Retard's playing guitar with him, and I don't know, is that correct?
It's possible. I think Aki Kumar is currently signed to Sony Music, so he gets around. So that was a fun find for me this week. Another another fun find was the
Oh,
more. Oh, you want to? Yeah, please go.
yeah, I wanted to take turns. By the way, definitely not Jay retarded because this picture was taken in 2018. But it was in your neck of the woods. It was taken in Berkeley. The picture that's on Wikipedia.
All right.
Yeah. So I just wanted to mention, I think just maybe one other album that came out this past weekend, Friday, and that is duly noted. The new album by the Canadian supergroup Tons, which consists of Matt Murphy from the Flashing Lights and the Super Friends, and Chris Murphy of Sloan, who's the primarily the bass player from Sloan, because everybody's a multi-instrumentalist in Sloan, and plays drums primarily in Tons. And totally love the album. It's their second album. I think the first one came out in 2019. Chris Murphy and Matt Murphy. I've mentioned them before, and actually, we're recording this before we record our show for this week. They will come up again, or did come up before, depending on what order you're listening to things, on our spring show as well. But really love them. Love Matt Murphy's work prior to this. Love Sloan, of course, and it really works well together. Basically, they were both on the scene back in Halifax in like the 90s, and so that's how they're associated, but they're not related, even with the same last name. Highly recommend it, though.
Yeah, I just checked out a little bit of it, and yeah, we can have a Left of the Dial podcast, copyright 2021, without mentioning Sloan. So really good band. If you don't know Sloan, go check them out.
It does seem that way. It's not intentional, but it just kind of works out that way.
Hey man, no worries. Yeah, good stuff. I didn't know about this record, so thanks for straightening me out, as
Sure.
always. And then if you are totally sick of gorgeously crafted kind of like power pop tunes by Tons,
And why would you be?
Why would you be? But if you need to come down, definitely recommend the collaboration between the Attica Quartet and Carolyn Shaw. The album is called Orange. So the Attica Quartet was founded in Juilliard, a little while ago, 2003, and they focus exclusively on 20th and 21st century composers. So yeah, I think one of their previous albums was focused on John Adams, and Carolyn Shaw is a really interesting contemporary composer. I love this record. Definitely urge everyone to check it out.
All right, and I just have songs other than that. Do you have any other albums?
No, I'm done, man.
Okay. My song highlights for this month. A Little More Time by Raining Sound, which I think actually got a mention on our previous new music show because it came out on that day that we recorded it. Phoebe Bridgers recorded Summer's End, which was one of the last songs John Prine wrote and recorded. That's on the Spotify singles. It's a collaboration with Maria Taylor. Spoon covered a lot of covers these days. Spoon covered "A Face in the Crowd" by Tom Petty. One of my Tom Petty secret weapon songs. I think it's very very overlooked, but one of my favorites. A new track from Teenage Fan Club, "The Sun Won't Shine on Me." Still waiting on the full album for that. Lauren Hibbard and the Regrets, and not the full Regrets, I guess. It's just with Lydia Knight. How Am I Still Alive? Rat Boys, Go Outside, their new single. Flock of Dimes, Price of Blue, Jesus and Mary Chain, Oh No Yoko.
Oh yeah, real return to form, as they say in the music biz.
They do say that. Yeah. And yeah, that's my March basically.
I love it. Yeah, lots of good tunes, and we're just shaving down the numbers until everyone is vaccinated, and then all these bands are going to go on tour. Like immediately.
Yeah, all at the same time. There
All at the
won't
same
be. They'll have to open new venues just to have a place for everybody to play.
Yeah, and I definitely, I've been there where, you have your job and your bank account, and sometimes it's hard to justify paying some dollars to see somebody, even if you really want to. But that's their job, and you probably won't regret it.
Yeah. Well, and I think now more than ever, if anybody's on the fence about going to see somebody live, they'll just think about how they haven't had that opportunity in such a long time. So
I'm so excited. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard to pass up those opportunities. I think from at least for a while from now, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't. I'm not vaccinated yet, but I think there will be some adjustment period between when everyone feels safe and not agoraphobic and hiding in a walk-in closet and recording a podcast.
Yeah, there's a balance that has to be struck between people that that are feeling that way, and then people that never felt any other, like felt in any way not normal or not like before the pandemic.
Huh.
I don't know. We need equilibrium to be reached there.
But bottom line, go see some music, pay that extra dollar. This may sound like a totally entitled thing to say, but spend that money; it'll grow back. Right?
One hopes. You never know. But I think what I would say for sure is when you look back on the opportunities that you had to see certain bands, I don't know. To me, those bands that you didn't go to see when you had the chance, and then didn't have the chance ever again because they broke up or worse. I think those are always like the what sticks with you in a bad way. So nobody wants that.
On this very special episode of Left and Dial podcast, the chats are blowing up. Lots of tears.
Yeah, I try to I've tried to minimize that in my life, but everybody has some of those.
Yeah, everybody has one of those, and we don't have to go there because we're going to keep this real positive. It's spring outside, and we just talked about like just a bucket of really good tunes. If you listen to all those albums that we mentioned that we really like that just came out, that's like 4 hours of music. So much good music.
Well, that'll wrap up our new music segment for the month of March. And happy April, everybody. Hopefully there's more good music on the way, and we'll talk about it a month from now.
We'll see you in 1 month.
We'll see you. We'll see you much sooner than that, but not
right,
talking about new music.
I really enjoy these segments. So yeah, thank you everybody, and want to invite all the artists that we mentioned. If we got something wrong, get in touch with us.
Yeah,
talking about Lana Del Rey, Noga Erez, Aki Kumar. Any of you guys, just drop us a line. I see the chat is blowing up, but email is nice.